Anyway, just as long as we're... Yeah. If you... Yeah. We got a few minutes. We got another 1.5 people coming.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, yeah.
So, it's a weird question.
Okay.
When we're doing this, I'm a little unsteady right now.
Yeah.
But I can't see myself in the mirror. But when I can...
You can if you shift over a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like I actually look like my body's angling.
Yeah.
But when I watch you do it, you're really straight up and down. And
Yeah.
I find that when I try to get straight up and down, I tend to walk.
Yeah. You know why?
That's why I'm asking.
That's a trick question. Quick question. The reason is because you're not maintaining the center line and you're not turning your shoulders. So you're holding your core too rigid. And because your core is too rigid, you're always going to be on that side of the body. So if you turn your body, your line becomes much more streamlined, and then you're actually tracking your movement better. Now you have to turn your shoulders more. Yeah, aim towards your center. Everything goes towards your center. It's actually a triangulation. You have to...
So when you say turn your torso, is it towards this leg?
Yeah.
Way, or is it...
No. You have a center line.
Yeah.
You shift your weight. So if you didn't do your hands, didn't do your legs, just do that, right? So if you just do that, now your hand, don't do this. This is here, this is on your side. This goes like this is on your side. So between here and there is a triangle. Now if you move your leg to the center, then you're going to track a lot better. But yeah, because your core has been conditioned to want to stay a little bit rigid. So your back is not releasing. So you just have to practice it to break that habit. That's why come to class. No. So that's something I teach actually in the Parkinson's. And I teach that drill as an exercise like this. We don't swing, we just walk. So Otis, you can do it like this if you don't want to swing. You just move to your center. You see your center, and you're like that, and you're like that. So that's the natural motion for walking, and it's also something to build balance and integration of the body, and you have your supporting leg.
And should you keep this leg locked?
Straight but not locked. Yeah, because if you bend, then your leg's too short on this side.
I didn't mean bend that way.
Okay. No, just, yeah. A lot of times people think if you bend your knee, you're going to be more stable. And in a way it's true, but actually if you stand up and keep your skeleton aligned, you'll be in better balance. Okay, we're going to bow. Ready? Hup. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So first exercise, turning, hands up, ready. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands on your waist. Turn, tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay. Hands up, reach down. 1, 2, 3. to your right, to your left. Center, inhale, exhale. Hands up, reach down, 1, 2, 3. To your right, to your left, center, inhale, exhale. Hands up, reach down, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Center, inhale, exhale. Okay, hands in your waist. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, and stop. Cross, knees, circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Okay, hands in your waist. Neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Rotating down. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Hands up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Spread your feet. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, stretch it out. Switch. 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 Straighten the front knee. Switch. 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 Center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, hands your waist, shoulder roll. and reverse. And sign. Press, release, exhale, inhale. And sign. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, wrists. Reverse. And sun. Okay, palms down, bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Okay, shift and balance. So you have to actually sway your hips enough to get your center over the heel of the supporting leg, so your spine actually tries to look for that tail. Your tailbone tries to look for the heel of that foot. And center. Okay, shake it out. Let's do a few leg swings. and center. Other side. And center. Okay. Opposite. Okay, switch. And center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, silk rilling. Switch. Okay, cross, open and close. Switch. Okay, center. Feet parallel. Preparation. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Lower, palms down. Extend. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, diagonal flying. Switch. Palms down. Cloud hands. Okay, palms down. Lift up, carry tiger to the mountain. Infinity sign. Form the fist. And center. Strum the lute. Okay, thumbs up. Alternate the shoulders. And switch. and center. Turn, draw the bow. Okay, fan to the back. Okay, raise the hand. Okay, palms down, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we'll go through sequence. Okay, feet parallel. Begin with preparation. Okay, deep breathing. So we'll spend another 15 minutes on the Tai Chi Paradigm. Anything you want to work on? Anything you think you have a little trouble with? John? No? How about, I'll make a suggestion unless someone else has one. Thinking? Insert needle. Okay, and then after that we'll do something with Jade Lady Work Shadow. Yeah. So insert needle, that stems off of what? What's the preceding movement to that? Insert needle, diagonal flying, right? So in diagonal flying, or in the long form, it's brush knee. You always have to sit back on the back leg first. So if we're in a diagonal flying, turn your body go back to neutral. Then you're going to go straight up and then turn your body away and then come back into the position. Huh? Well, slight turn, mainly because if you're here, then your body, so we're talking about finding your tailbone over the heel of the back foot, right? So once you find that position, then to maintain that, your body has to make that slight adjustment. So the upper body and lower body has to, what's that?
Your tailbone's over your heel, but where's the weight going through your foot?
It's going through your foot, and it's distributed in the single foot. Because we could go into another concept when both legs are there, but when you're in a single-legged position, it's between the toe and the heel, the relationship, because your toes actually do a lot of sending impulses to your brain to let you know where you are, what to do. Those impulses, it's a feedback to let your body know how much tension it needs. That tension is a kind of a tonus where your body has muscular contractions, but it's not excessive and it's not, so you can stand pretty long without getting physically exhausted because it's regulated. So when you stand on one leg, your body actually will start to respond and give you some feedback. Now, if your feedback, if you're tense, then before you can get the feedback to be effective, that part that's tense has to release. So you have to go through that. So, and then, we can try that a few times. Now, when we're in the diagonal flying, when we sit back to the mirror, right? See, we're really over this leg at this point. Now when we turn, we're still over that leg. You have to actually transition back to this side. That's why you would bring this foot to here. And then once the foot is down, you start to travel up, but the turn and the motion becomes one. I just broke it into pieces that you can see. So body, part of balance and body mechanics is compensating for, the inequities in the motion. So you have to kind of work through that to get, the feeling. You establish a feeling, because if you do it and you feel balance, then you start to recognize that that's the right way to do it. You have to go through, how do we learn? We learn through experience, right? And experience and insightfulness comes from doing different things actually. So when you teach and they use all these analogies and all these metaphors to explain why certain things happen, especially martial artists, they use a lot of these kind of metaphors because some people can't understand what you're driving at. So you have to use something that's common or something that you think that they might have experienced. So then when you draw that analogy, they start to understand a little bit about what you're talking about. So bringing your tailbone over to here lets you know that you really have a center line, and that's the vertical line. So the average person that doesn't even realize where their center is, and it may sound funny, but the thing is, it's true. because people are so unaware of their body because they don't pay attention to it. Everyone's paying attention to everything else except for what the body needs to do to stay stable, to be balanced, you know. So we go through life kind of in a daze, and then when something happens, you say, well, how'd that happen, right? So when we're doing this, we're actually learning to be more sensitive and aware of our positions. So when we're here and we shift back, we come back to center. Now, that's pretty simple when I say that, but the thing is when you're here, and then when you shift and you turn your body, and you bring your hand back to here, and you lift, there's a lot of stuff that's going on to allow you to control your movement. And when we go to fan through the back, we end up in this position, right?
It seemed like it was just a straight up and down motion, but there's so much involved.
Yeah, because your body in motion is different because your center of mass is changing. Center of mass is on, you can be sensitive to if you can find it. So in Tai Chi, the whole goal is to keep and maintain your center of mass. But when you're rigid, like we're standing here, we're not concerned with center of mass. We're concerned with not falling and staying. So whatever it takes to stay stable, but you're not moving. Once you're in motion, then the center of mass makes a big difference. You know, because it's changing. So the adaptability of your body position has to do with the relationship between the mind, the body, and your sensory system. Your sensory has to detect, it has to give feedback. It has to tell the muscles what to do, and then the body goes through the whole process of producing enough energy to do the movement, right? And then so you build off of that. That's why if you don't exercise, your metabolism actually is not as good because you're not using, you know, the energy in your body that's supposed to, or creating the energy. So you're not using your resources. So, and what are the resources? Your food intake. If you don't exercise, you don't move, then your body doesn't know it needs to, you know, burn any of that. So, but when it starts to burn it, then it becomes efficient and then this becomes a balance. I mean, everything's balance. That's what yin and yang is, balance. Balance in nature, balance in, you know, and then, in movement is balance. Not just balance in not moving, balance in motion. So that's where you have to integrate your body. So then we go to Jade Lady Work Shuttle, right? So Jade Lady Work Shuttle, you can kind of look at it as grasp the sparrow's tail in a different space and dimension, but we're in a neutral position, and then we go forward, and then we go back, and then we turn. But this is where something's lacking, is sinking the elbow. So it's not so flat. Okay, so that's really, we have to add some dimension to that. So the dimension comes from the forward movement, the backward movement. You have to sink down and then lift and then turn into that position. Because the movement is lifting, that's rising, right? So to sort of accommodate the lift, you have to lift the body and the back. In order to rise, you have to fall, right? Because it has to balance. So when the movement comes forward and you go back, you have to sink. So sinking is the integration of your upper or the lower. The elbow drops, the knee folds, and then you start to turn, and then it starts to come up. And then there's where you lift and the rises. So
The lift is, we had this conversation last week. The lift is from the back, not from the legs.
from all of it.
All of it.
Yeah. So the lift is the back rising, but then you're also projecting forward.
Right.
Yeah. So you have the forward projection from the legs, the rising from the torso, the lifting from the arm, and the turning to the final position. Then you have to seat your position. Seating your positions, finishing, finalizing your posture. So what's finishing the movement? Finishing the movement is creating that instant of structural integrity. Right? The instant of structural integrity is seat the wrist, seat the ankle, seat the knee, seat the hip, extend the leg, heel down, and body turned to all of those final points become the point that you're targeting, then it becomes a trigger point. Now when it gets to that position, hold that again. So where does it supposed to go? This hand has to be here. And then this hand goes to here. So that means your waist had to turn a little bit more. Now your nose, this line, and the knee becomes one vertical line. See? So that's what you're looking for. That's what your body will recognize over time. But your brain doesn't really know what you're doing. Doesn't even know that posture. So once you're set in that position, then you have to go back and try to redo the position, replicate that motion, finalize it, and then it happens over time. It takes many, many weeks for it to kind of go into that long-term memory. Once it goes into long-term memory, it goes into subconscious behavior where your body kind of knows it and recognizes. Then you start to evolve. And then when the movement comes in, you go forward and you go back and you turn. Now when you sink and turn, everything comes back to aligning those positions. That's the muscle memory, the sequential event. All of that stuff becomes tied together as one unit. And once it gets to that point, if you were to take it to another level and apply the movement as a martial art, then it has to be turned into a reflex. A reflex action becomes controlled reflex. And when you come into a position, you come like this, then you would go to the position and you should be there for the instant, and then it's gone. But that's a synchronization of your body where you tie it together and then generate that instant of energy. That's, yeah, so we're here. We'll go to neutral. Okay, so we turn a little to the left and we move to the right because that's where our knee is. We move from here, so we turn to the right a little bit and we start to turn. And this is grasp the sparrow's tail. In this instance, when we go like this, when we go forward, then when we turn this way, we sink, and then we start to find that center, and then here, lift and turn. So that becomes a spiral, because the hand that went like this came like this, and then came like that. Because that's what we do here, right? There's a spiraling, right? What is a spiral? A spiral is exactly that, right? But what is really a spiral? It's a circle, another circle, and another circle. So it's a bunch of circles stacked up. And then if you connect them when they're close together and you pull it apart, it looks like a spring. So a spiral is that. But if you take the sizes of the circles and you take them to a point, it becomes a screw. So when you're doing a movement, you're actually screwing into the direction of movement. So clockwise goes forward, counterclockwise goes backwards. And we took that same concept into our legs, the same thing happens. You screw in, you screw out, and it comes up through the legs. So, but that gets too complicated, right? So every part of your body has the ability to create a twist and spiral. That's why our forearms and our shins have two bones, because you have to turn over. Without that action, you wouldn't be able to do probably more than half the things that you do daily, because you need to go up and down. It's not just patty cakes, it's kind of, you need to do that in order to turn a key, turn your ignition if you had to turn it, screw a light bulb, whatever you have to do that requires a twist and a turn, wringing a towel, right? So all of these things require this action. We have this in the lower part too. but we don't pay attention to that. That's why we can do this and this and this. So going back to the leg stuff, right, and standing on one leg, it's toe and heel when you stand on one leg. But when you're down here, it becomes toe and heel between the two. So the relationship is always toe and heel. And then when you go forward, it becomes toe and heel. And that relationship helps you avoid double weightedness. Double weightedness is a fault. So if you get that concept, then that relationship from foot to foot is that. So where does that happen? It happens throughout, but the thing is, when you first start the form, it appears to be double weighted, right? But the thing is, you're moving from toe to heel, right? So the drill that we did before, toe and heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, that actually builds that sensitivity in the relationship between what's going on in the soles of your feet. So you can't avoid this. When you walk, it becomes a heel and a toe. On both sides, heel, toe. If I go to the forward position, if I transfer, it's heel and then the toe of this foot. Then it comes the toe of that foot before it comes the heel, right? So that's what happens when you do Tai Chi. So when you think of why Tai Chi is beneficial to balance, footwork, and so forth, that's the mechanics behind it. But who thinks about that? No one thinks about that. No. But you don't think about it until you can't walk. And then you have to learn to walk, and then you have to go through the process. But still, you just go through the motions. You still don't control anything. So, if you do Tai Chi, if you do any of these, and you have trouble with leg work and rigidity in lower half the body, that what you have to learn to do is sink, relax the hips and sit, get your ankles to go forward, because if without going forward, the only way you can compensate is to go backwards, right? So if your ankles don't bend, you have to stick your butt out. Sticking your butt out means you're going to lean forward. If you're going to lean forward, it means you're going to fall forward because you're top heavy. Your center of mass is forward. So that's really, what you have to understand, and why body form helps prevent some of that. But, it's not really taught. In the medical industry, they keep talking about how many people fall, but what do they do about it? They send you to the gym and have you strengthen your arms. That's not going to help you. You have to actually learn how to relax the lower part of your body and control this, right? If you relax the upper body and you're not top heavy, then you won't crash. You have to be bottom stable, right? So if you just, you just loosen the body and roll around your feet, you're not going to fall over. You only fall over when you're like this, right? You think of anything that's a column and it's rigid, it tips over very easily. But if you have those little springs like in the signs that they have on the street, the top is like this, and you have a base, and it doesn't tip over. So our legs are like that. There's your base, your ankles are like those springs, and you just kind of do that, and you stay stable. But we can respond. We have a reactive phase. So okay, so let's go to the long form, go through that. So that's just, food for thought. And Oblique single whip. So this, turn your hip to this corner and then open it this way and then let this hip relax. Okay, insert needle, sit back, lift, turn, and drop. Fan through the back, turn, parry, and punch. Step backwards, divert, block, and punch. Step forward, grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrist, single whip. Hold the ball, first set of cloud hands. Turn, set it up. First instep kick, right side. Second time. Turn, heel kick. Brush knee, right side push. Second brush knee, twist step, left side push. Step up, step through, brush knee, planting punch. Turn, 180-degree turn, parry and punch, step up. Same hand movements as the first kick. Turn to the left corner, fold, open the stance. This is beat the tiger. Turn to your right, stroke down. Similar to Jade Lady Work Shuttle, but then you make a fist at the end. And then lower the hands, lower hoop. Cross arms, flatten the elbow, heel kick right, 2 punches to the ear, left hand on top, cross arms, flip, parting leg left, 360-degree pedal step, fold, right parting leg, Stroke down, back fist. Form the fist and punch. Divert, block, and punch. Cross the arms, leopard and tiger springs to mountain. Carry tiger to the mountain. Cross hands. Oblique brush knee, right side push. Left side round out, left side. Twist, turn, 180-degree turn. Brush knee, left push. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Back to single whip. Okay, now going to hold and reverse the ball. Turn, part the horse's mane. Second, part the horse's mane. Step up, step through, reverse the stance. Left side, part the horse's mane. Twist, step, step up. Two more, 1 and 2. Cross step, Jade Lady work shuttle. Sink your elbows, and so you add that dimension, pivot, pivot, cross, and step. Forward, right side. Stroke down, part the horse's mane in this corner. Cross over. Left side, Jade Lady work shuttle. And spin. Pivot, pivot, cross, and forward. Jade Lady work shuttle. Grasp the sparrow's tail in this corner. Turn back to the front, single whip. Second set of cloud hands. Turn, snake sticks out tongue, downward posture, pull down, step up the cross hands, golden cockerel, kick and poke, golden cockerel, reverse the stance. Okay, repulse the monkey 3 times. Okay, then we go to neutral right. Okay, lower the hands. Lift up, carry tiger to the mountain. Open. Squat down. Hold the ball. Shift. Shift and step up. Press forward. Raise the hand. Bend from the waist. Stork flaps wings. Turn. Brush knee. Second, insert needle. Fan through the back. turn, parry and punch, step forward, divert, block, and punch, step up, grasp the sparrow's tail, single whip. Okay, third set of cloud hands. And then we're back to single whip. Return, palm strikes face, single lotus, brush knee left side push, twist step, step up, turn, punch down the crotch, step up, grasp the sparrow's tail, hook your wrists, single whip, second downward posture, start off with snake, sticks out tongue, intercept, pull down, step up to cross hands or 7-star, retreat and ride the tiger. Left palm strikes face, turn. Change the palm, double lotus. Draw bow to shoot tiger. Left palm strikes face. With high pat the horse, turn. Parry and punch. Left palm strikes face. High pat the horse. Step through. Change your hands. Grasp the sparrow's tail. To single whip. And hold the ball and close. Okay, deep breathing. So, why do traditional martial arts practice forms? Because some of the newer eclectic styles are modern to focus so much on sequence. So the traditionalists, they practice forms mainly to house the information. They're like books. So it's a book of movement, and you house all these different postures in it, and you use those postures when you extract them as a training. That's essentially what you're doing. So a form can be practiced in different ways. You could practice it depending on what you're focusing on. You can practice it for your shifting of weight, practice the integration of body, practice it for more refined movement for functionality. You can practice it for flowing movements. You can practice it to integrate and build one continuous streaming movement. That's why they call it the long form. Long form means as long as the Yangtze River, that it continues to flow. It's just one continuous motion. It seems like it's seamless and that it's only one continuous thing, but it's really made up of postures. There's 37 postures that are different. Linked together creates the 108 movement form. Is it exactly 108 movement? It depends on who's counting and how they count it. But a lot of times they put the Wu style form into 89 movements, but then you got to count the ones that you're doing twice or 3 times. So that's where you get the 108. So 108 is a significant number, because like all cultures, they use numbers as symbolic and have certain meanings to them. So 108, 8s and 9s are typically good numbers in the Chinese culture. So it represents, things. And then you have 12s, right? 12s, that's why for some reason, 12 is significant, right? So we do 12 exercises, and then, then when you multiply it out, you get 108. Okay, so what is a fluid form like? We used to call it's called guan chun. Guan chun is translated as it's continuous and it's seamless. So that's when you're kind of going through the form for your own practice. It's very hard to do it like that as a group form, because everybody would be doing their own interpretation of movement. So when you get to the stage of spiraling or interpreting, so here's another thing we talk about, spiraling. That could be part of your focus when you're practicing a movement, depending on what you're doing. They've practiced it in different ways for martial integrity, to practice it faster for applying a technique. Because a lot of times when people practice Tai Chi, they say, well, how do you apply this if it's a martial art when it's done so slow? But the reality is, it's a training in the slowness. You don't apply it slow, you apply it fast. You just have to get to the stage of quickness and fast movement by learning it slowly first, until your body recognizes it, reaches a level of subconscious, and then it becomes reflex, and reflex becomes action. So it's a conditioned reflex. But at the same time, you just can't take the movement and do it fast. You have to learn how to apply it. So you have to develop body mechanics, sensitivity to position. That's the tactile side of Tai Chi. That's why there's pushing hands. That's why there's... And then you have to interpret the movement. So these movements are blocks. It's a non-guard position. If you're a boxer, you go like this, or like this in the old days. Today they just have their hands up, they're loose like that. And then when you lift, that's high blocking. When it's low, like a brush knee, it's low blocking. So it's pretty self-explanatory as to what you're doing. When you're pushing, it's a palm strike, a double palm, a single palm, a punch. When you poke like this, it's a stab. When you push like this, it's a palm. So they're all sort of apparatus, weapons of your body. When you go up like this, golden cockroach, that's a knee. When you poke out and kick, that's a kick. And when you thrust out like this, it's a snake sticks out tongue. When you grab, it's intercepting. When you turn and pull down, it's a downward posture. So you have to have the general idea what the movement kind of looks like when you apply it. So when you do your form, you create a certain imagery for application of that technique, so that there's some sort of connection and looks like there's a reality to motion. So in Kung Fu, it's more important to have that, but in Tai Chi, it still has it. Palm strikes face. Literal interpretation is palm strikes your face. High pat horse, a little bit more abstract, but it's really the hands are turning and it's exchanged from one side to the other. Diagonal flying is a strike down. It's a lift up. So any movement is directional. So when you do your movement, the conscious intent of movement means what is this movement doing and in what direction you headed. So in this instance, I'm going like this. So the intent is on this side. When I'm pressing down, the intent is here, or on the arm. Even in closing, when I go like this, my intent is in the elbow. See? So, when we divert and block, it's moving right to left. When you go forward and back, that's your punch. And we went over that the other day, right? So punching is directional. Blocking can be side to side, okay, or it could be up and down, depending, right? But most movements work better with two dimensions. If you just press, it's kind of dead. So when you change the direction by adding another plane of movement, it makes it more effective. When you're going forward and then go backwards, there's a retracting, but you're also intercepting on the way back. And there's a redirection with the turn. So that's why the body has to constantly be engaged with the hands. Because without the body, your hands and legs can't coordinate. Without coordinating the hands and legs, it's isolated and kind of not as effective. So when we're doing infinity sign, it's not your hands, it's your arms. Because when you come into your center, you're closing your center. When you change directions, you're taking it to the outside, right? So why we focus on the hands is because as creatures of habit and people that only learn by grabbing, survival skill, you don't realize that your arms are very important in moving it. So your arm is actually your bridge. And what's a bridge? A bridge is the connection between you and your opponent. So if I were to use John's arm on this side, and we connect it like this, it's really, my arm is actually doing all the work. I'm just staying with him. So it's called adhering. So that's what you're doing. And what you're doing when you divert, and like this, so his movement is just one dimension, so it's just going,
Yeah.
but mine is going like this, and it's like this, and like
What
this.
should I can only do one dimension.
So that's why you have to practice more for the third dimension. No, it's because, yeah. So this is actually changing. So this is going like this, it's pressing down, and then it's turning. When I turn like this and I go like this, the hand elbow comes up and then it comes down. So we don't see all of that. No, you don't see all of that because it's not, right? So there's a lot to that little movement, but it's not understood. But when you turn, the body actually is connected to that in the legs. So that's why we're in the rear stance when we divert and punch. Then we do that. All right, we got a bow. Ready? Hup. Okay.